morning, the president said he will not sign any legislation that passes Congress until the SAVE Act passes. That means the president's asking for total gridlock. The SAVE Act will not pass because it is such a pernicious, nasty piece of legislation. The SAVE Act is Jim Crow 2.0.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and me, Double D, and you're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. We really appreciate you guys stopping by and hanging out. So we got some breaking news, and there's been a lot of talk lately of the 2020 election and the rigging that was done and everything, and how everything is really, really coming to light. So now, here in Arizona, the governor is under a lot of hot water, Double D.
Yeah, because they cheated, and it's starting to appear to be the case more and more every day. And I don't think they were the only state, but right now they're the ones getting caught.
Well, no, Maricopa County, though, it was like really big, though. That was one of the big nationwide news things where the cheating was going on, and they were calling us crazy, telling us we were Nazis, conspiracy theorists, this, that, and the third. Now it's all coming to light, and we're looking like we're Alex Jones.
Yeah, well, you know, they were calling us conspiracy theorists and paranoid and all those other things that went along with it. But we all knew, and they knew too, dude. They knew what they were doing. They were telling a big enough lie for long enough and trying to win the hearts and minds of the people. But every time you do that, eventually time and the truth eventually come out. Here we are 6 years later, and the truth seems to be coming out.
Yeah,
it looks like Arizona might have rigged it. So
we have some evidence here of Arizona rigging the election possibly, and this isn't a surprise to me, Double D. It's not a surprise to me at all. I knew it was happening. So without further ado, let's get into it.
And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton, and of course it helps you because it helps us bring you these stories every day. Now, y'all, this is a huge story. I'm not sure why this isn't being reported more widely, but I suppose
we know why, because of the liberal media. We know exactly why.
Exactly why. Yeah, they're definitely not intending on telling us.
No, not at all.
No. Hearing more about it in the days and weeks to come. A report came out today that the FBI somehow secretly gotten its hands on electronic voter data from Maricopa County, Arizona, from 2020. That was another site, along with Fulton County and other locations in the United States. That was another site that Donald Trump disputed the results from, saying that seems like some funny business had happened. Y'all, we're going to take a look today about that report of the FBI getting their hands on this election.
Especially with the fact that it was actually a lot closer than what they were trying to say. And out of nowhere, Fox called it for Arizona like Biden was up by 8%, when really he was up by like 0.2%.
Yeah.
So, who knows?
I mean, well, Fox wasn't the only one that called it. All of them were calling it. CNN was calling it.
Right.
MSDNC. They were all calling the, dude, it was like the fix was on from top to bottom. Everybody knew. They were all part of it, dude. The media was definitely in on it.
Oh, 1,000%.
Data, but we're also going to take a look at the fact that Maricopa County had a full audit, and no surprise, y'all, they say Joe Biden won fair and square.
Go figure.
But there were some irregularities in their election, so we're going to be taking a look at that here today. And also we'll hear from Tulsi Gabbard when she said, hey,
you call it irregularities, I call it stealing an election.
Yeah, I mean, dude, here's the thing. What they claim that he got 80 million or 81 million votes, right? Mm-hmm. And then you go 4 years later and he was not getting that. I mean, he was so unpopular by that point. There was no way they could cheat. It was too big to rig at that point.
Too big to rig.
That 2020 election was it would have been otherwise close, I think, had it not been rigged.
Yep.
And how does somebody how come there's like almost a 20 million vote discrepancy between Joe Biden and then 4 years later Kamala Harris? Because all that tells me is that their Democratic base stayed loyal, but for the first time in American history, a president that was elected with 80 million votes, I ain't buying it, bro.
Yeah, so tell us down in the comments down below, people, what do you guys think? Do you guys think the election was stolen in 2020? If you don't think so, why do you think that? If you do think so, why do you think that? Let us know.
I think the evidence is overwhelming now.
Oh, I don't disagree.
But our elections are vulnerable to hackers. And she promised that she would do her best, not only to get to the bottom of it, but also to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So y'all, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
A new report shows the FBI expanding its election investigation to Arizona just weeks after federal agents moved in on Georgia with a similar probe. Just the News reporting that federal prosecutors issued a grand jury subpoena and FBI agents are obtaining electronic election data from Maricopa County. Now, the full scope of the probe has not been disclosed, but this does come just weeks after the FBI raided an election warehouse in Fulton County, Georgia, where agents did seize voting records from the 2020 election.
Rightfully so.
Sources told Just the News that this is just the beginning, with more searches and subpoenas expected in other states soon.
Now, if you remember last year when Tulsi Gabbard took over as the director of, is it national intelligence? As the national intelligence director, she said that our elections are vulnerable to hackers, y'all. And some people are speculating that this Maricopa County situation may have something to do with that.
I've got a long.
You know, that's very true. And I want to point something out, Double D. So here's a situation where that could be in favorable of one person, okay? Say you're a candidate running for president. You're one of the top two candidates, which is either you or the other person, right? Who's to say you can't easily go outside the country and pay whatever money? Let's say it's somebody in China, somebody in Saudi, anywhere. It doesn't matter where. You pay somebody to interfere on your behalf of the election to rig it in your favor. How is that like so out of the box for some people to act like that's not even possible when it is 1,000% possible?
You know what, Bert? I'm not even sure they would have needed to pay him. I think those countries that you're talking about would have been willing to do it for their own personal interest. Honestly, I think it's less about people being bribed and more about interference from foreign elections. Dude, they were probably paying people to do the cheating here.
Yeah.
And I know we're just taking your conspiracy theory a little farther, but
you never know real. You never know for real.
Why not? Dude, everybody hates us.
That's true. That is true.
I mean, so why wouldn't they do it? It's the question.
I don't disagree.
List of things that we're investigating. We have the best of the best going after this. Election integrity being one of them. We have evidence of how these electronic voting systems have been vulnerable to hackers for a very long time and vulnerable to exploitation to manipulate the results of the votes
if
being
your
cast,
iPhone is hackable,
which further
why
drives
wouldn't the voting
forward
booth?
your mandate to bring about paper ballots across the country so that voters can have faith in the integrity of our elections.
Now, for its part, Maricopa County has conducted an election audit for the 2020 election, and they did find irregularities in their election, but they also, as I said earlier, unsurprisingly said, a little bit of irregularities. Joe Biden, he still won.
See, they came up with a litany of things that they say are irregular.
Yeah, the word anomalies just kept coming up over and over again, pointing out things that was more that they couldn't find as opposed to things that they could find. But I do want to start off by stressing that obvious point here at the top, that this count still proved that Joe Biden won this election. We heard the Senate President Karen Fann at the top of this show here also stressing that this wasn't about overturning the election, she said. That being said, there's a lot of people outside of the Capitol here that were hoping that that's what this would lead to here. It's a pretty quiet, subdued scene outside of the Capitol right now compared to a little while ago when there's a lot more people here. Let's go over this presentation that is still ongoing inside of the Senate. This has been going on since 1 o'clock this started. It's focused on 3 key areas: signature verification,
time out for a second. And question. So this is in real time, right? Or is he talking about 2020, or is this taking place in 2020, that than what we're watching.
No, this
That's
is
in
right
real
now.
time.
This is in 2026.
Okay. So he made the comment about it's not about overturning the election. You couldn't overturn the election if you wanted to. How do you go? You can't go back in time. So like I don't. I mean,
The only thing you
it
could
was a
do.
pointless statement.
Well, the only thing you could possibly do maybe is consider Joe Biden an illegitimate president and overturn everything he did.
I mean, honestly, I would be cool with that.
Yeah, I
mean,
think I don't know. To me,
the
like that's
president's
the
been
only
overturning a lot.
that's the only thing you really can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, the way he's talking, it's like I mean, why is that even like you can't change time? It already happened, but I get it. I mean, maybe I see where you're coming from, though. I mean, what else is there to overturn though that Donald Trump hasn't already overturned?
That's true. Well, we gotta get rid of the rest of the illegals.
Well, that's taking time, but it's in process.
Mm-hmm.
1 o'clock this started. It's focused on 3 key areas: signature verification, the count, and then a lot of the computer data behind the scenes. On signature verifications, one of the things the Senate contractors claimed they found was a small number of scribble or bad signatures that were approved. Well, Maricopa County, they've responded to that already, saying that there was a lot of reasons that someone might have a, quote, scribble signature, as it was called. They said it's reviewed by a team for approval. It can be for things like medical reasons. Someone might have a stroke, a situation like that. That's something we saw throughout the day a lot so far, is the Maricopa County team responding to what's...
No, that seems like more of a reason to say, okay, it's fine.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do. Obviously, Maricopa County doesn't want this audit to look unfavorably to them.
That's true. I don't disagree with that at all.
I mean, I wouldn't want it to, you know what I mean, to look unfavorable in my state, so I can see where they're coming from, and they're trying to spin down on that one.
Yeah.
Being said inside of the Senate through Twitter responses to facts as they're coming and going. On the computer data front, the contractors pointed out again what they called anomalies, focusing more on the things that they couldn't find, claiming at one point that data was actually purposely deleted the day before the audit began. But again, Maricopa County, they responded to that, strongly denying it and saying that the staff was simply compiling data for the Senate subpoena. Now on...
Yeah, but if something was deleted, that's not compiling data for a Senate subpoena. That's getting rid of evidence.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds more like they're trying to hide something and get rid of it. I don't know. The more this guy talks, the more guilty he makes him sound. I'm not even sure whose team is this guy on.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was on feeling he was on theirs, but I'm beginning to wonder.
No, I think I don't think so.
The count, Doug Logan with Cyber Ninjas, he said their numbers were basically the same as the county's official count.
Now today, Donald Trump has said he will not sign any more bills. He will not sign any new laws until the country, that's the United States House and Senate, until they pass the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is meant to ensure that only United States citizens are voting in our elections. The Democrats are calling that a return to Jim Crow for some reason, y'all.
You know what's funny? Because I talked to my Democratic family. You know what's funny, Double D? I talked to my Democratic family, and they actually agree that we need voter. Like, everybody knows that when they say voter ID, they just mean you need an ID to vote. You need to be an actual citizen of the country. Even my Democratic family agrees with that. It's just most of them, not all of them, most of them. Not all, but most.
Well, I can say with my Democratic friends, most of them actually, they'd rather not talk about it for the most part, but those who do are in favor.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's more of like an 80-20, 85-15 thing with that, where it's just the Democrats in office that are trying to push that agenda.
But here's what I would like to point out more importantly than, our friends and family is Donald Trump is making sure that they're going to pass that SAVE Act, and they're going to make sure that or the Save America Act, they're going to make sure that they pass that, and we're going to have voter ID, whether the Democrats like it or not. And they're either going to get on board or they're going to keep people out of work and they're going to keep government shut down. And I like the tactic. Don't sign anything.
Yeah.
Don't make anything in the law until they pass the one that, he's got to use some kind of stronghold, and that's a good tactic.
I agree.
I like it.
I agree.
But Donald Trump is holding firm. He said that this has to get passed.
This morning, the president said he will not sign any legislation that passes Congress until the SAVE Act passes. That means the president's asking for total gridlock. The SAVE Act will not pass because it is such a pernicious, nasty piece of legislation. The SAVE Act is Jim Crow 2.0.
Oh, bullshit.
More than 20 million people would lose their right to vote.
Yeah,
And
20 million illegals, you fucktard.
You would need
damn,
to register either a passport or your original birth certificate. How many people have that? How many people have that?
Why do they act like? Why do they act like the comment? Why do they act like the common everyday person is like so idiotic that we don't know how to get an ID? We don't know how to get our birth certificates. We don't know how to get our social security cards. We don't even know who we are. Like, these people just think that we're literally idiotic as shit, dude.
You know, he's thinking in terms of 1965 when everybody had that old nasty looking toilet paper type of birth certificate. This was before you were even born, Bird. They got rid of that shit when I was 10 or 11 years old.
Right.
This guy's a clown. To sit there, first of all, you could download your birth certificate. You could download an unofficial copy. If you want an official copy with the stamp, you got to pay for it. But you could get a copy of your birth certificate, certainly enough for voting, but it doesn't matter because you should have a state ID or you should have a legal driver's license if you're in this country working. So if you're a working person who happens to be a legal immigrant, there's a good chance you probably have a driver's license or at least a state ID. So Chuck Schumer's so full of shit, dude. He really, really is.
Yeah.
It would eliminate vote by mail. Tell that to a senior
I'm cool with
citizen
eliminating vote by
who's
mail.
confined to their home in a wheelchair that they're going to lose their right to vote.
I'll tell it to them.
If they really want to vote that bad, they'll get a way to get up there. If it's really that important to them, they will get a way to get up there. My father could not walk that well. He went and voted.
But even so, dude, he's talking about mail-in ballots. They can request. You can still request an absentee ballot,
right,
for medical reasons. So fuck Chuck Schumer, he's a liar.
And he would purge the voter rolls using a AI system set up by Musk and Doge. So you could show up at the polling place this November and they'd say you're no longer on the rolls. They don't even notify you of it.
So yeah, y'all, first you had Fulton County, now you have Maricopa County. If I had to put my money on it, you will see some Michigan-related news coming up as well.
I agree.
Yeah, he's probably right, man.
Well, they have had some news about their election system. We're going to be doing a video on that at another time, so look out for that. But in the meantime, what do you think the FBI might find with this latest? I was going to call it a raid or a seizure, but I'm not exactly sure how they went about this, y'all, because the news is kind of scant at this moment. But people are talking about it on X. Do you think they're going to find that hackers hacked the election in 2020, y'all? And if
I do, I think that's definitely a possibility that they found some hackers that rigged our election. I wouldn't put it past anything, honestly.
Dude, they were ballot harvesting and everything. I mean, like, look at all the dead people that voted Democrat in 2020.
They said that all the machines were actually hooked up to the internet and they weren't supposed to be.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean like the regular internet?
Yeah, like they have a modem.
So they weren't even using a secure system for that information to transfer. Yeah. And we're supposed to believe that nothing went wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy what happened. I don't trust our government at all. I don't trust the system to be unrigged. I don't trust anything. It is what it is, though.
And with Chuck Schumer,
the way I looked at things now, you just got to live your life for you and just do your own thing.
And the thing with Chuck Schumer is you always know when he's lying. Every time his mouth is moving, there's a good chance nothing true is coming out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, dude, that's been his MO for 50 years.
Yeah, that's true.
He's always been a liar.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think of Chuck Schumer? Is he a douchebag or is he a good man?
I don't even think the Democrats will call him a good man, but I'll be curious to see if they do.
Yeah, I don't disagree. So it's clear as day that, there was definitely some irregularities going on with the 2020 election. We knew it from day one, though, especially when I was watching and Donald Trump was winning at like 2 a.m. I fell asleep for a couple hours and I woke up and he was not winning anymore. And I was like, what? Like overnight, this just randomly happens? Okay.
Yeah, dude, my uncle who was still alive at that, in 2020, obviously he passed away last year, so he was way alive. But even he was like, I've never remembered an election for a president where one president was winning at midnight and then they woke up the next morning and he was losing by 20 million votes or 10 million or whatever the number was.
It's insane,
dude. The math. It's just and he was a diehard Democrat.
Yeah.
And I think he believed deep down that something shady happened. He doesn't care because it happened in his favor, but
right. Yep, it is what it is.
Even though he still made the comments though. He still said that, that was really weird. He's like, I don't ever remember an election where one candidate was winning at midnight and then losing the following morning. It just didn't happen.
I don't either. I can think of one at all.
And they were doing, dude, what about when they closed off the they stopped the counting of the ballots in Georgia?
Yeah.
Remember? They stopped
that's what they were talking about on here. That's what they were talking about, Fulton County.
Dude, that's obvious. That's clear and obvious.
Yeah.
But the media's nothing to see here.
Yeah, that's true. And and they're not even talking about it like they should be, which is even crazier.
They're not going to because they're part of the cover up.
Yeah,
that's
they're part of the problem. Definitely part of the problem.
NBC, CBS, ABC, CNN.
It's not NBC.
MS. It's MS Now. Whatever.
MSDNC. It's not NBC. Right. It's DNC. It's the Clinton News Network.
That's right. Commie News Network. Too.
Commie News Network.
I mean, both ways.
Those are both the same thing. So it's like we're saying the same word.
Pretty much. Hillary Clinton's a commie, and so is CNN.
Yep.
Pretty much the same thing.
Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff going on in our world. Well, I feel like we covered it. So on that note, we're going to end it. Just remember, without God, none of this is possible. I want to thank the audience, Double D, and my friends and family.
And as always, thank you, Bird, for making the show happen. Audience, thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and smash that notification. And most importantly, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And with all that, good night, y'all.
All right, everybody. Have a good one. Peace.